I really started UU Church because my wife was going there. After attending the UU Church for over 12 years, that in spite of my reluctance, it was really what I believed in.
I found the Unitarian Universalist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, and this seemed to answer what I needed as far as honesty and also the search for real meaning in life.
A few months later, we started to actually go to the church, and the less they pushed us to become members, the more interested we were in joining, and that's why we joined.
Well, I guess I became a Unitarian. You know, a lot of it had to do with kids, trying to raise them in a environment that was more open than what I was raised in.
I had been told by my friends for a few years to come. I found their little section on humor and you might be a Unitarian if. And about 3 down was you might be a Unitarian if your Holy Trinity is reduce, reuse, recycle. And I went, oh great, I guess I'm going to church. So I did, and I really haven't left.
One of the things that we're excited about as we see trends in the larger society, more people are uncomfortable with some of the traditional choices and are really exploring a lot of options. We are really a faith community that believes in living by our values on a day-to-day basis. And while we're involved in a lot of the same social justice efforts locally that many other traditions are involved with, we also take a stand on some issues that other traditions are not quite willing to take a stand on.
There's a lot of humor, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of stimulation, but when Unitarians get serious about something, it is almost unstoppable.
I feel that we have a lot to hold up here and to continue with. So the Peace Festival is part of our social justice outreach to the community. Also working with Bridges to Circles, working with the Faith-Based Coalition for Unitas Gambia, the poverty solutions there.
Besides offering direct services and support to the larger community around access to food and homelessness and those kinds of things, we're also very active at the level of local and national advocacy around policy making that really advocates for the basic human rights of all people within our larger community.
Our combination of rationalism, love, dedication to nonviolence made a huge difference here in Pensacola.
From being involved in the original democratic ideals of the United States and the democratic process to the Civil Rights Movement, many of our people were involved, and many Unitarian Universalist clergy were involved with marching with Martin Luther King, and in more recent years being involved in environmental efforts and also justice for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community and marriage equality, which is a big issue in our times.
Being a gay person, I came to the church wondering if that was acceptable, and the first conversation I engaged in, I mentioned being gay, and there wasn't even, nobody missed a beat.
We really really do have a unique place in the larger community, being located in Pensacola, which is predominantly a pretty conservative religious area where there's literally a church almost on every corner. What we offer in terms of an openness to diverse religious and spiritual traditions is really unique, especially in being a place not just where we advocate for the traditional Christian values that are found in the life and teachings of Jesus, but are open to the other world's religious traditions and are open to people who really don't find a lot of support in religious or spiritual language at all. People for whom they want a community to explore and nurture their ethical commitments in life.
This is a church which is not narrow in its teaching and its philosophy. It's accepting to a diversity of the traditions. You can be a believer in any of the world's great religions or in no religion at all, and you will be accepted in the UU Church.
We had visited a few different churches, Christian churches that we weren't completely satisfied with. We sort of had a liberal worldview, but still wanted to be spiritual, still wanted to explore, but we didn't want to be told what the absolute inspired truth about the world was. We wanted to have a place where we could think for ourselves in an open, non-dogmatic sort of way. And so we fit in instantly. We felt like we were at home, and we've been coming ever since. And we got married here, and this is our community.
All the different faiths that get explored here, there's something for me in all of them.
Everybody should try it out. I mean, we do welcome people of all parts of view, and if they say, well, you know, what do you believe? We can explain that, you know, there's a variety of beliefs among us.
I'll just lift up our first and our seventh principle. The first one being the inherent worth and dignity of every person. If you're able to honor each person regardless of their background and regardless of their current situation as a member of the human family, that there is an imperative to treat that person with respect and kindness.
I've been a member of this church for over 25 years now, and it's become an extremely important part of my life during that time. And I know that what I have cherished about it from the very beginning is that I could come on Sunday and I could count on the fact that I would be there to think, to learn, to feel, to connect with people, and to love, and to laugh, and to laugh.
We do have a lot of diversity, and we're a place where people are encouraged to freely express the difference of opinion, and if you come from a different background, we're genuinely curious and would like to learn from your experience and invite you into the conversation. There's a place for you at the table to be in conversation, and we look forward to learning about you and where you come from and your beliefs and your hopes and aspirations for the world, and to see how we can work together to make that happen.
Because there's all kinds of different people here. There's people of different levels of spirituality, there's different levels of religion, there's different thoughts of religion or no religion here, and the opportunity to visit with people on that subject is open to them. So I think it would be a great place for them to come.
Grew up in the Hindu tradition with Hindu religion, and one reason that I'm a member of UU is that the UU tradition is very compatible with some of the background that I bring with myself from India.
One of the things that comes from our tradition is that we don't have to think alike to love alike.
We're never pushed into saying or doing or pretending to feel or think things we don't, because it's always left up to us how we want to interpret life and religion and our work in this life.
This church, I believe, embraces reason and embraces a lot of different views. We can live together with different views and we can have reasonable discussions. There's no absolute dogma, and that was a very important thing to me.
Not creeds. It matters what you do with your life. Even if you may think differently with another person, you can come to agreement about how to make the world a better place. So while we may have a diversity of beliefs and a diversity of interests, we are committed to making the world a better place based in the qualities or values of love, freedom, and justice.
Well, it's a great group of people who are open-minded, don't mind other people's philosophies as long as they're open and loving and willing to help each other, I guess.
As some of the basic core values, you could even call it the Unitarian Universalist Trinity, so to speak, although it's totally unofficial, would be love, freedom, and justice. Love being respect and care for the inherent worth and dignity of all people, and that's offering hospitality and compassion to our neighbors and whatever strangers are in our midst.
You're not alone. There are others out there that do and do not believe like you, but we are all here, and we show up and we care about each other, and that's the part that matters.
Freedom is freedom of conscience, freedom of belief, and freedom of expression. That's the thing that you hear so often about Unitarian Universalist communities, that you're free to be who you are, and you don't have to check your mind out at the door. You know, we encourage free thinking and asking questions, and we don't have to check other parts of our identity at the door that may be not welcome in a lot of other places.
I have a church where you can be totally honest, you can believe what you believe, and you will find that there are other seekers who are doing the same thing.
Then the last thing is justice. Fairness, equity, and compassion in human relations is one of our principles, and it's not just looking out for our own self-interests, but extending this ethic of justice and compassion to all the people of the world, whether they think differently or have other religious traditions than we do, and to the earth that sustains all of us as a human family.
To find a place that is a spiritual home that doesn't keep you confined in one path and in one philosophy or one dogma, but also inspires you to work at what you believe, to put your hands in what you see needs fixing, and to do it with as much justice as you can.
Coming here was very difficult to think about engaging in a congregation again. But when I did and came here, I engaged. It was home. I was here. I belonged. And I have wound myself through the linkings of this church. And I have arrived here. I belong here. That's where I am.
That's what it's really about for me, is the weaving of lives, community, self, teasing parts of myself out, and a beautiful place to explore it with others.
Wow, try it. I spent 3 years not coming because of the word church. I spent 3 years of a bad time in my life that I really could have used just the knowledge that there were people out there like me, and that they don't believe the same as me, but they inspire the same, and they hope for the best in people. And had I known that, the 3 years prior to me coming here would have been a lot easier for me.
It's really a positive way to think and a positive way to live. I can't believe I went all the years I did without being part of this.
I'm happy that I'm in UU, and it does a lot for me.
UU Church is a great place to be. It's a place to express yourself. It's a place to find other people, do things together, do things in society, do things for social goodness, help people, and feel like you belong someplace.
People should come because they're looking for a place where they can search for their own spiritual path, not somebody else's spiritual path, but that which meets their needs, that which seems good and true and beautiful to them.